Do something, man. People are questioning you.
Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the DubCast. In today's episode, I will be giving my reactions and review for the movie 28 Days Later. Just to start this podcast off, just dropped the new intro song / whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say hold off for thoughts for now. Let it marinate a couple episodes. Come back. I kind of like the beat. I like it. So if you don't like it, give it a couple more episodes. And then if it's really bad, I'll change it. So that's going to be the new intro for the episodes moving forward. Thought I'd have some little signature song there. Okay, so getting into today's episode and review. So 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later is a horror / thriller movie released in the United Kingdom. It was released November 1st, 2002. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 53 minutes, a budget of $8 million, and was directed by Danny Boyle, who I was not really familiar with. It stars Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, Christopher Eccleston, Megan Burns, and Brenda Gleeson. So, as per usual with my movie reviews, I will jump right into the non-spoiler review, give a kind of overarching review without revealing any of the spoilers of the movie, brief rundown of what it is, and then if you don't care about being spoiled or you just want to see my review of this movie through full spoilers, come back, or don't come back through the spoiler, but if you want to not be spoiled, get off after this review. Okay, so the first scene in this movie is we start off with an infected chimpanzee, and these animal activists break it out of its cage, and they're really no, don't break it out. Ends up starting a zombie apocalypse because of course, and Cillian Murphy wakes up 28 days later. He's the main protagonist in this story, and he has no idea what's going on until he runs into some of the zombies and meets two people, Selena and Mark, and they make their way back to where Cillian Murphy lives. His character's name is Jim, so they go back to where Jim lives, and they find his family has been dead. Well, his family is dead, and they committed suicide because they didn't want to handle the apocalypse, the typical apocalypse way out type story thing. And then they end up meeting a father and a young girl, and they travel to a military blockade and try to travel to a military blockade to seek refuge and find a safe space to live in the apocalypse. So yeah, that's kind of the plot of the movie. I'll leave it off there so you don't get spoiled if you don't want to. So my overall thoughts and review, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I loved Cillian Murphy. I feel like literally every movie I watch of Cillian Murphy, he just can't miss. I don't think I've seen a bad Cillian Murphy movie yet. So he's quickly rising to the top of my favorite actors list. I liked the girl Selena in the movie, and the younger girl's acting wasn't bad either. Something to note for me is I couldn't find a good, really quality version of this movie. A lot of it was blurry, and that kind of impacted the viewing experience for me, but if you're able to find a quality version of this, then it'll probably be better, but that's just something that kind of stuck out to me. It didn't take away too much, but just something to note if you're interested in watching this movie. I like the zombies overall in this movie. I don't mind a zombie film or zombie universe. I'm a huge Walking Dead guy. I've watched all the Walking Dead shows, watched all zombie movies and stuff, so that didn't really bother me in that sense of the genre, so this was kind of up my alley. I will note that there was some weird continuations and rules with the zombies, although I did overall like it. There were some weird continuations and rules, and I will get into those after the non-spoiler review. So the comp the comparison I want to make for this movie is kind of like a worse, watered down UK version of World War Z. But overall, I did really enjoy it. So I gave it, or I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed it overall. So for my score, I gave this movie a 7.5, and that clocks in the kind of good but not great range. So that is where we will leave with the non-spoiler review for 28 Days Later. If you want to be spoiled or you've already seen the movie and want to hear my thoughts, you can continue watching, but if you don't, stop here. Okay, jumping into the spoilers. So at the end of the movie, well, first off, Mark, who he meets at the beginning, dies like right away, which I'll get into that. And so they eventually make it to the military blockade, which is Jim, Selena, Hannah, and her father. And once they get to the blockade, the father dies through forgetting, but I think he either does something stupid or, he gets actually blood drips into his eye and he becomes a zombie. So it's just Jim and the two girls. And so it's like this military blockade, but it's all guys and they don't have any females there or any really outside people. It's just the people in the military. So they act nice at the beginning, and then they end up sentencing Jim to die and take the girls hostage to like reproduce and make a new society, forcefully and not willingly for the girls. And it's messed up because Hannah's like a 10-year-old girl, not a 10-year-old, she's like 14 or something. So eventually Jim escapes captivity and ends up just murking the people one by one, which is like one of my favorite scenes in this movie. So then 28 days later, after he kills all the military people and they make it out, a jet finds them later. And that is the end of the movie. So this is where I will note that the whole reason that I was interested in watching this movie is because I've seen a lot of buzz online about a possible sequel to this movie. So I can definitely see where they would want to go with a sequel to this movie. And I definitely would be interested in seeing where it goes just because of the way they left it off. They said like they didn't, or there might be people still living in the US or in Europe. So that I feel like that could be interesting, seeing where that goes. So that was just an interesting way to end it, and I'll definitely be interested in watching the sequel, and we'll review it if it comes out. Okay, so those were the kind of main plot points, and now on to my thoughts and reactions. First, in the first scene, I thought it was super funny. So this monkey's like sitting there in front of a bunch of computers and stuff, and that just reminded me of Red Zone, like watching Red Zone on Sunday. Seeing this monkey, there was like strapped into the chair, watching all these TVs with different like world events going on. Just thought that was funny, kind of like what we do on a Sunday, but it's just a monkey like being forced to do that. So made that comparison there. At the beginning of this movie, this is like the worst part of the movie when Jim first wakes up. He walks around for literally like 15 to 20 minutes just going, hello, 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 hello. Like, bro, no one can hear you, clearly. Well, and this also ties into a zombie continuation / thing that kind of irked me. So this man's in the middle of London and there's thousands of zombies and he's just yelling, hello, 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 and not one of them can hear him, or happens to be nobody nearby. I mean, this dude walks around for an entire day just screaming, hello, hello, and they can't even, like, there's no zombies to come and get him, or one doesn't even hear him until like the end of the night or the beginning of the night. So I thought that was kind of an annoying scene / continuation of scenes where he's just screaming, hello, hello, hello. Bro, like, no one can hear you, so stop yelling. It's clearly something's going wrong, so I would like err on the side of caution. Why do you need to yell hello? Just thought that was dumb, and also dumb that no zombies came to get him. And my next point is that this movie is literally just The Walking Dead in movie form. The creators of this movie should actually sue The Walking Dead, because this is literally just like the first season of Walking Dead-ish, close to it. Cillian Murphy's character is literally just Rick Grimes waking up from a coma in the middle of the apocalypse. So 28 days later, go get your money from Walking Dead. That's bullshit, even though Walking Dead's good and shouldn't be sued because I love it. So yeah, that was a strong comparison between the beginning of this story and the beginning of the Walking Dead story. So right off the bat, once he meets Mark and Selena, Mark dies like probably a third of the way into the movie. Thought that was respectable. You got to kill off your main characters. Didn't really care about Mark that much, just because he's really didn't say anything notable. And him and Selena are like these like survivors where they are like survivalists, and you can't be emotional at all, and you can't. That's another like main theme of the movie. But I respected the fact that they just killed Mark super early on. So moving on, there's a point in the movie when they drive away from the zombies. I think it's either with the girl or with just Jim and Selena, and the zombies just like give up after you drive away, which I thought was stupid. If this is a brain dead zombie, why would it just stop running once you drove away? So that was another issue with the zombies that I noticed. The music in this I found was odd, just an odd score for me. I didn't really like it and thought it was kind of off-putting. So moving on to the scene when Frank, the father, dies. So he gets dripped into his blood, or the drops drop from like this ceiling like bar, whatever. The blood drips into his eye, then he becomes a zombie, which I respect the fact that they did that, because you hear all this shit in like Walking Dead about if they scratch you or if like they get the blood in you, then you, well, I guess everyone's in effect. I won't spoil Walking Dead, but so I feel like there's weird, like no other really zombie universe movies or TV shows like actually have these rules that are or cool ways to get infected. Mostly it's just like a zombie bites you, or that's basically it. So I respected the fact that they did this drip of blood that goes into his eye, and he's like, and then just becomes a zombie. But the scene where the father actually dies and they have to this is when the military people pop up and kill him. But this chick is so dumb. Like, she sees her dad. It's like, granted, she's like a 13 or 14-year-old girl. That doesn't mean you get to be protected. This was still stupid. So she literally sees her dad turn into a zombie and sees him get gunned down by the military, like right in front of her. And she's like, Dad? Girl, she's dead. Or he's dead. He just got shot by the military and turned into a zombie. What? Like, that just irked me. Kids, man, don't let your kid be stupid. That was dumb. That was just a dumb scene that I didn't like. So, also obviously, as I mentioned before, the idea of the army wanting to keep Hannah and Selena just to make or reproduce and create like their own new society. I thought this was an interesting idea. I really haven't seen this in kind of zombie media that I've watched. Maybe I'm probably a little bit limited there. Excuse me. But I thought this was like an interesting concept, because this is probably actually like what would happen if this were a scenario in real life. And obviously you have to reproduce, you have to make this new society. So I thought that this was like an interesting take on it, of the military, these supposed like good group of people taking a bad course of action. So moving on to the last couple things here, the way that they filmed this scene at the end where Jim is kind of going one by one and taking out all of the military people was really cool to me, especially because they used these same special effects as they used the infected. So it's like when you see a zombie in the film, it's kind of like these quick shots and you can't really see their face and you don't really know what's going on. You can just kind of see like the brief action. So when Jim's doing this after he escapes being executed, he kind of has the same camera shot style. So I really thought that this was one of the better scenes in the movie, probably my favorite scene in the movie, or favorite set of scenes in the movie, where he's just kind of going around quickly and just killing people left and right, which, again, I don't know if this guy who just woke up from a 28-day coma could really do this, but just the way that it was shot, I thought was really cool. It is a movie, so I will give them the benefit of the doubt there. And he ends up gouging the eyes of somebody. So straight savage mode there. Props to Jim for getting a kill like that. And then with the ending, I thought, you know what, we do get good endings, but I thought, you know what, this is a really cute, nice ending for this movie, and good for Selena and Jim and Hannah for making it out flagging down a plane. We don't need the answer of where they go because there's going to be a sequel, but if there wasn't a sequel, we don't need the answer. Thought it was a good win for them. I should probably mention the romantic thing between Jim and Selena. So Selena's like this survivalist type who doesn't want to be emotionally attached to anyone. And then the theme of the movie is her like kind of realizing that you need to have emotional connections, and then her and Jim make out and they fall in love, and then so they probably just like are gonna have a pseudo family with Hannah. It's been rumored about what if Killian's gonna be involved in the movie. I think the latest is he's gonna be. So that'll be interesting to watch for a sequel. So that's gonna wrap up my thoughts here on 28 Days Later. Overall, if you like zombies movies and like that kind of genre, I'd give this a shot if you can find a good quality version of it and don't mind British actors or actresses. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up here, my review of 28 Days Later. Podcast moving forward, I have 2 more movie reviews I'm trying to do in the near future for All of the President's Men and Looper. So I actually have a lot of thoughts on Looper, so that will be probably the next movie review, and then All the President's Men will follow that. So don't have a timetable on those yet, but one will probably be out this week. For the sports talk, probably going to wait just until the end of the first round to get into that. Survivor will, or end of the first round, we'll do draft thoughts, maybe do some UFC picks. We'll see. And with Survivor, that'll be out Wednesday or Thursday. I'm trying to finish. Well, I haven't really had a lot of time to watch Succession or McGregor Forever, which are the 2 other shows I'm watching in downtime, just because I've been locked into the playoffs. I've been taking notes for you guys, taking very detailed notes of the NBA playoffs. We'll have some strong takes and analysis for the NBA, NHL. I haven't been taking notes, but I've been watching. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up here, guys. Stay tuned for more content. I got you. Let me know if you liked the intro. If you didn't like it, wait on it and let me know in a couple episodes. And I probably still won't change it, but yeah.